My name is Karlyn Borysenko, and this is the Actively Unwoke podcast. Oh my God. I have to tell you guys about what just happened to me. I mean, every once in a while, we are gifted with opportunities to make points about this woke ideology. And just by pure happenstance, I happen to be gifted with one of those opportunities in the last week. You see, I'm a professional member. Well, I think I'm still a professional member. I am currently, to the best of my knowledge, a professional member of the National Speakers Association. I have been a member of the National Speakers Association for years and years and years, dues paying member, hundreds of dollars every single year to go to this organization or to be able to attend their conferences and get their magazine and all this stuff. All the things that you need when you run a business on speaking. Now, before the pandemic and before all this online nonsense that I'm doing today, I actually made my living as a professional keynote speaker and corporate trainer. And it took a lot of work for me to get to that point. I was a speaker for over 10 years as an amateur, just going to different conferences in my industry. And I really always wanted to get good at speaking. I remember sitting at South by Southwest in 2006, and I was so green and so young at that point and had just started my professional career, and I was watching these amazing speakers just engaging entire rooms full of people, and I thought, "I want to be able to do that." And so I spent the next almost 10 years or so just going around on my own dime a lot of time, presenting to groups of people, getting better and better and better and better and better every single year until I was finally at a level where I was able to charge thousands of dollars to go and give a talk at an organization or a conference or any of these things. It took people rag on speakers for how much they make, but it's kind of the same with artists, right? An artist can paint an amazing painting really quickly, some of them within minutes. And you say, why does that painting cost thousands of dollars? Well, because it took years to be able to develop the skills to be able to paint that amazing painting within minutes. And speaking is exactly the same way. The only way that you can really get good as a professional speaker is by going out there and actually doing it. And so I had reached this place where I was able to charge thousands of dollars for a talk. I was able to engage entire rooms of thousands and thousands of people, and I was finally able to join the National Speakers Association as a professional member. Now, the National Speakers Association has different membership levels, or at least they did when I joined. There was, I think, an associate level where if you weren't making a certain income from speaking, you had to join at the associate's level and you had to do this coursework and able to learn how to make money, all this stuff. But because I was already speaking professionally, I was able to meet an income threshold for money that I made purely from professional speaking gigs. And that's kind of like the ultimate. When you join as a professional member, like you have reached the point where you are able to sustain yourself. Now, this is a little bit of a long intro to talk about what happened, but I think that this is really important. This was a big deal for me to be able to join the National Speakers Association as a professional member. This was very literally a decade of work. And finally getting that validation that yes, I all that work I've put in, all those hours where I was just rehearsing to myself, speaking to myself in a mirror, memorizing scripts, trying to work on my mannerisms when I get up in front of a room, trying to work through the fear and stage fright that comes with speaking in front of a lot of people at once. I'd finally gotten that validation that I did it. And now this week, I'm pretty sure that my membership's going to be revoked. I have absolutely been removed from their members only Facebook group, which is one of the literal benefits of my membership. And I want to talk to you about how that happened because I am using this as an opportunity to make a point. I am using this as an opportunity to shame a professional speakers association for literally silencing speakers that they politically disagree with. We should never let these opportunities go wasted because they just don't come around that much, to be really honest about it. And I want to really articulate that I had a personal connection to this, but using it to make the point of what woke culture is doing to these associations and organizations, That's more important to me than maintaining my membership in the National Speakers Association because woke culture has infiltrated everything. The National Speakers Association should not be a political group. And if they are allowing discussions of different political ideologies within their group, then they need to allow all political ideologies, not just ones that they agree with. So here's what happened. Last week in the Facebook group, in the members only Facebook group, someone named Bob posted, well, you all know how this starts. He posted what might seem like an innocuous post, but actually started an online struggle session. He says, "Gotta say, I'm disappointed that the National Speakers Association has an executive from Chick-fil-A to speak at Influence." Influence is the national conference of the National Speakers Association. And of course, that singular post ensued an online struggle session in which all the progressive members were attracted to this post and says, yes, yes, it cannot be allowed to pass. This executive from Chick-fil-A, they must not be allowed to speak at our professional conference because it's not as if the members can just make the choice. Like, if you don't want to hear the guy from Chick-fil-A speak, just don't go to his presentation. And then if there are people who want to hear the guy from Chick-fil-A speak, they can go and you can go do something else. We've lost this ability to be able to say, you know what? I don't have to agree with someone and I don't have to agree with every presentation. And if I don't want to hear someone speak, I just won't go. That apparently is no longer an option. So that happened, and then not too long after that, just about a day and a half ago, the chairman of the NSA Foundation board bent the knee to the woke mob and issued an apology. As chairman of your NSA Foundation board, I want to acknowledge our recent mishap, and the Foundation board is grateful for this conversation. With more diverse perspectives in these conversations, we can listen, learn, and respond accordingly. Our program planning, marketing, and communication will be better because of this conversation. He bent the knee to the woke mob. He got lots of people saying, stunning and brave. Yes, we appreciate your leadership. And all the while, there were members of the group who were speaking up, going, this is stupid. If you don't like the speaker, don't go. And they were ignored, predictably. And by the way, this is all documented on my Substack. I wrote an article about it. So if you would like to actually see these, see the images and the screenshots I have, you can go to Karlyn, Karlyn.substack.com, and it's all going to be right there. But I was a little bit annoyed at this, and I was laying in bed at about, midnight last night. And I decided just to post a little protest just to see what happened. And my goal was I wanted to gauge not only the reaction of the other members of the group, but I wanted to gauge the reaction of the National Speakers Association themselves. Because if the National Speakers Association is indeed going woke, as I believe it already has, I want to be able to know that so I can stop paying them hundreds of dollars a year in membership fees and I can go on my merry way. And I'm more than happy to do that. If they are not going to provide service to me as a member based on my political beliefs, then it's simply not an organization that I need to be a part of. And so I posted a cover of my book, Actively Unwoke. And I said, I'm just wondering if I should anticipate being removed from the National Speakers Association for writing a book that's coming out in a few weeks that some people in this community will consider racist. We should probably get it out of the way now, if so. Now, I want you to note that when I made this post, I did not post a link to buy the book. I did not have a call to action to buy the book. I didn't promote the book in any way. The intent of this was not to market the book. The intent was to be a protest about what I had just witnessed occurring in that group. And then, sure enough, the next morning, so I made this post around midnight at night. So of course, people were asleep. You gotta allow a little bit of time. But the next morning, the progressives started waking up and they started commenting, "Oh, how dare you promote your content? That is not allowed in this group." And it is true, technically, that promotion is not allowed in the group, but we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a second. They do not, let's just say, they don't apply that rule equally to both sides. And I have evidence of that. So, sure enough, within a couple of hours, I got a direct message on Facebook from a woman named Candace York. And Candace, who was an employee of the National Speakers Association, said, "Hi, Karlyn. We're removing this post because it violates the NSA's self-promotion policy. Thanks for your understanding. If you have questions and or concerns, please email me directly at Candice, Candice, just for what it's worth, at nsaspeaker.org." All right, Candace, we're off to the races. I responded back to Candace and I said that there was really no need for me to email her directly because what I was going to do was use this as an opportunity to publicly document that the NSA is silencing its members based on their political beliefs. It was a trap and they walked right into it. Because the fact of the matter is, people post their books all the time in this group. People promote their social media all the time in this group. They promote their events all the time in this group. They promote their programs to sell to other speakers all the time in this group. And the only time they have a problem with it is when it doesn't abide by their political ideology. And I have one specific example of this. And in fact, again, you can go to my Substack, karlyn.substack.com, and you can look in the article that I wrote about it. And I have a very clear example. On December 15th, 2021, Shirley Davis posted a promotion for her book, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for Dummies. And the post reads, in part, "Breaking epic news, reshare alert. It's been the busiest year ever for me. 2 books released by global publishers, but the impact is long lasting and I'm forever grateful. Introducing the first ever Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for Dummies book, and I had the honor of being asked to write it by John Wiley and Sons Publishing. I am so excited to announce it will be released on January 2nd. And she shared an image with the book that is a clear promotional image that says it's available on Amazon, that even has a QR code on it to go and buy the book on Amazon. Now, I would have absolutely no issue with this at all if I hadn't just been censored in the group for posting a book cover and doing no promotion at all. Again, I didn't tell people to buy my book. I didn't give a link to where they could buy the book. I didn't even mention where they could buy the book. I didn't mention the release date of the book. I didn't mention anything about the book. All I did was say, some members of this community might think my upcoming book is racist, and I just want to know if that's going to be a problem. And then I posted a cover of the book to illustrate why some members of the group might think that it's racist. Because when you have a book called Actively Unwoke, the ultimate guide for fighting back against woke insanity in your life, I think you can guess what audience is not going to like that book too much. So here we have a clear example, a post that has been in the group since December 15th, and I have other posts as well, of a book from one side of the political spectrum being clearly and obviously promoted in the group, and that post is still live in the group today. And my post, which was not a promotional post in any way, was removed within 12 hours of me posting it. And to be quite frank, it probably would have been removed a lot sooner had I not posted it at midnight. Because sometimes they have to catch up a little bit. And so the National Speakers Association is clearly choosing sides. They're clearly bending the knee to the woke mob. And I wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to illustrate that. And every single time something like this happens to you, you have to take advantage of the opportunity to illustrate it. That's the whole point of this particular podcast. It's not necessarily just about what happened with the NSA, although that is certainly important. But you can apply this anytime you are canceled from anything for any reason. Get evidence of it, get documentation, get screenshots. Don't be afraid to go right back at them and say, nope, this is not acceptable. And I'm going to tell the world about it. Make sure you get as much evidence as you can. Screenshot everything. Everything. Because you can always delete a screenshot if you don't need it later. But if you need it, you're going to wish you had it. Now, when I gave this very clear example to the NSA employee, Candace, remember, Candace is her name. I said to Candace, I said, Candace, this is a clear smoking gun of you allowing books to remain up in your group. And I'm going to be, sharing this with the world. So you might want to alert your PR team that this might be a little bit of an issue. And at that point, Candace blocked me on Facebook and she removed me entirely from the National Speakers Association membership group. Now, this group is an actual benefit that I am entitled to as a member of this association. And because I demonstrated clearly their obvious hypocrisy in how they handled this situation, they removed me from the group entirely. And I'll be honest, I won't be surprised if I get an email or a phone call saying, we are removing and revoking your membership to the National Speakers Association because of reasons. And that's certainly a sacrifice I'm willing to make. I mean, it's like they're not giving me any benefit at this point that I can't get in other places. And so I would love to have that conversation with the National Speakers Association. And if they do that, if they do call me or email me and revoke my overall membership, given that I just paid them hundreds of dollars of dues a couple months ago, I'm going to document that as well. Because one of our priorities and one of the ways that we fight back against woke culture in this country is by shaming them relentlessly. They should be shamed. They've been shaming us for years. When people do things that are wrong, they should be shamed. And so that is why I posted about this on my Substack. That is why I made a Twitter thread about it. And if you ever find yourself in a position where something similar happens to you, but you think, oh, I don't have a platform, I don't have an audience, you know what? Reach out to me. Send me an email at activelyunwoke@gmail.com. My DMs are open on Twitter. Write your Twitter thread about what happened to you and send it to me. I'll retweet it. Write an article about it. Send that over. Don't make the excuse, I don't have a platform, no one cares what I have to say. Because if no one else will share your work, I will. I have broken multiple whistleblower stories over the past 2 years. And if you want to remain anonymous, I will protect your identity. I have yet to give up a whistleblower. So don't make excuses for why you can't share when these things are happening. The woke deserve to be shamed. They deserve to be shamed for what they're doing to us. There is absolutely no reason that an executive from Chick-fil-A should be canceled because some progressives with crazy hair in the NSA speaker group don't like Chick-fil-A. There's no reason for it. Let them go to another presentation and let the people who want to hear from Chick-fil-A go to that presentation. There is no reason that my post should have been removed when other posts have been allowed to stay up. And this also might seem, and I want to note this because it's not an unreasonable objection. Like a post in a Facebook group, that's not a big deal. I'm gonna say, Karlyn, why are you complaining over a post in the Facebook group? Okay, fair, valid. But it's indicative of the larger culture. And we have to take advantage of every opportunity when we can. You have to do it. These are the easy wins that we get to demonstrate what is going on in our culture, who is on our team, and shaming those who would tell us that the only correct answer aligns with their political ideology. All right, that's all I've got for right now. If you would like to support the work I'm doing, you can order my book. It comes out on May 10th, 2022. It is called Actively Unwoke, the ultimate guide for fighting back against woke insanity in your life. It is filled with additional actionable tips and tricks that you can use to fight back against this woke insanity. You can order it at activelyunwoke.com. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, independent booksellers, Simon & Schuster's website. If you go to activelyunwoke.com, you're going to be able to get some Amazon pre-order options and some non-Amazon pre-order options, or to just order it directly if you listen to this after it's come out. All right, guys, that's all I have for this one. Take care, and we'll see you soon.